This is a true homicide case. What follows contains real accounts of violence, betrayal, and loss. Some details may be deeply disturbing, so please proceed with care and discretion. The man responsible for these crimes was sentenced to life in prison, ensuring he will pay for the evil he inflicted. Justice was served, and while no verdict can restore what was lost, it is a solemn reminder that no one should endure this alone. If you or someone you know is in danger, reach out and seek help immediately. Welcome back, and thank you to everyone who continues to support these difficult yet important stories. If you're new here, we are glad you've joined us. Together, we remember victims, expose hidden truths, and reflect on lessons society must never forget. In 2009, Ottawa was shaken to its core by what Canadian media would later describe as one of the most shocking domestic homicide cases in the city's history. It wasn't just the brutality of the crime itself, it was how long it had been hidden in plain sight, inside a seemingly ordinary home in a quiet neighborhood. This was not the act of a stranger lurking in the shadows. It was someone she had trusted most, someone who transformed her home into a prison and love into something unrecognizable. On December 6, 2009, Ottawa police descended on the basement of a modest home on Barwell Avenue. The first thing officers noticed was the smell, a heavy, putrid odor that made them instinctively cover their faces. Stains marred the floors. A door hung broken from its frame. In the corner, a makeshift bed of couch cushions bore the lifeless body of a young woman so battered that forensic experts couldn't even lift her fingerprints. Even seasoned investigators, hardened by decades of confronting human cruelty, struggled to comprehend the horror before them. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe, drop a like, and share where you're watching from. It helps keep these stories alive and ensures the voices of victims are not forgotten. What investigators uncovered in that basement was only the beginning. In the days that followed, the story that emerged would reveal a nightmare that stretched far beyond one violent night. This was a meticulously executed campaign of cruelty, carried out step by step, day by day, and for most of it, the victim survived. Her name was Donna Ellen Jones. She was more than a tragic statistic in Canada's fight against domestic violence.
She was a vibrant, ambitious woman with a bright future. Born on Christmas Day, 1975,
Donna was the joy of her family, a daughter who filled every celebration with laughter and love. She became the first in her family to attend university, earning a degree from Carleton University with determination and discipline. She built a career at the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, quickly gaining a reputation for intelligence, leadership, and warmth. Friends and colleagues remembered her as someone who could brighten even the darkest day, always organizing gatherings and making everyone feel included. By her late 22s, Donna had achieved what many only dream of. She owned her own home, had a stable career, and cultivated a reputation for kindness and reliability. She was ambitious, outgoing, and generous, with dreams stretching far beyond what she had already accomplished. But all of that, the stability, the hope, the light, would be stolen from her by someone she trusted completely. Donna's childhood, though full of love, came with its own insecurities. She endured teasing over a lazy eye and struggled with her weight, often feeling self-conscious. Yet these challenges forged resilience. She worked hard, pursued her goals relentlessly, and became an inspiration to those around her. At Carleton University, she proved her determination and capacity for success. By her early 32s, she had built a life of independence, a home, financial stability, a respected career, and a circle of friends who cherished her. But strength and kindness can sometimes attract predators. The very traits that made Donna admired her generosity, loyalty, and ability to see the best in people were turned against her. Her abuser would exploit every vulnerability she had, slowly isolating her, controlling her, and destroying her life from the inside out. The man who did this was Mark Peter Hutt, a man she had trusted implicitly. When they first met in the mid-2000s, Mark was 32, doing odd construction work around Ottawa. He exuded charm and confidence, the kind of person who could draw attention effortlessly. For someone like Donna, grounded and disciplined, Mark's spontaneity and apparent excitement were intoxicating. Their early relationship seemed effortless. Mark showered Donna with attention, compliments, and affection. For a woman who had spent much of her life battling insecurities, this felt like validation. Friends later described Donna as captivated by him, dismissing small warning signs as quirks of personality, convinced that love could bridge imperfections. But Mark's warmth masked something far darker. By 2006, he had already declared bankruptcy, a reflection of financial recklessness and irresponsibility. This was not a man seeking stability. It was a man ready to consume what others had built. Donna, loyal and compassionate, thought she could help him. Instead, she became a target. Investigators later found hundreds of handwritten notes throughout their home. At first glance, they seemed like love letters, but hidden within declarations of affection were threats, rage, and manipulation. Mark's so-called love was possession, swinging violently between obsession and fury. At work, colleagues noticed Donna's constant phone calls from Mark, demanding answers, checking her every move. At home, he controlled her finances, siphoning her independence, tethering her closer through manipulation. Invitations from friends went unanswered. Social life disappeared. The woman who had once brought people together became increasingly isolated. By 2007, friends staged interventions, pleading with her not to marry him. Even bridesmaids pulled out, unable to support a union they knew would be disastrous. But on the 15th of September 2007, Donna walked down the aisle. She believed in his promises, even as he tightened the bars of her prison. The change was almost immediate. Donna's weight dropped drastically, from 162 pounds to just 101. Casual acquaintances might have seen illness, but friends recognized the terror etched into her body and demeanor. By 2009, she was unrecognizable. The independent woman she had been was gone, replaced by fear and exhaustion. Mark's financial recklessness continued, funded at Donna's expense. Vehicles, recreational toys, and personal indulgences drained her accounts. In 2009, Donna filed for bankruptcy, losing the financial security she had worked so hard to achieve. Warnings to authorities went unheeded. Friends filed multiple complaints, desperate to save her. Yet systemic failures left her trapped. In the weeks before her death, injuries became visible. Burns, bruises, blackened fingernails, and other signs of abuse appeared. Donna deflected, claiming accidents or clumsiness, a classic survival response in domestic abuse victims. But the pattern was undeniable to those who knew her. The ultimate act of cruelty came in late November 2009. Court records reveal that Mark scalded Donna with boiling water laced with vinegar, covering approximately 40% of her body. She did not receive medical care. Friends filed another complaint with police, but the response was delayed until after her death. Trauma experts later explained Donna's attempts to reassure her mother as a coping mechanism known as trauma bonding. She minimized the danger to survive, clinging to hope that her torment would end.
The final day came on December 6, 2009.
Mark called 911 calmly, reporting that his wife was unresponsive. Paramedics arrived to find a scene no ordinary emergency could explain. Donna's body lay on a makeshift bed of couch cushions in the basement, swollen, clothing fused to burns, and surrounded by the unmistakable stench of decay and infection. Forensic evidence contradicted Mark's story. Donna had been dead for at least 12 hours. The basement told its own story. A door broken, stains marking the walls and floors, weeks of concealed suffering hidden from neighbors. Autopsy findings painted an even darker picture. Dr. Christopher Milroy, the forensic pathologist, found burns covering nearly half her body, but also 29 air rifle pellets embedded in her skin, 9 broken ribs, fractured fingers and wrists, a broken nose, and black eyes. Some injuries were old, some recent evidence of ongoing, systematic abuse. Dr. Joel Fish, director of a leading burn unit, later testified that with prompt care, Donna would have survived. Her death was not inevitable, it was caused by deliberate denial of life-saving treatment. Investigators also found tools of intimidation in the home: handcuffs, bows and arrows, and multiple air rifles. These items were used not for sport but for terror and control, evidence of calculated psychological and physical abuse. The trial revealed Mark's manipulations. He offered to plead guilty to criminal negligence, but prosecutors rejected it, insisting this was first-degree murder. Mark lied repeatedly, first claiming she fell into a fire pit, then that she scalded herself with soup, later blaming a stove accident, and finally inventing an explosion. Each story fell apart under forensic scrutiny. On June 7, 2013, the jury found Mark Peter Hutt guilty of first-degree murder. He received life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years, a verdict delivering justice but not closure. Donna's death also exposed systemic failures. The third-party complaints, filed by desperate friends, were not investigated in time to save her. Advocates highlighted this case as evidence that such complaints must be taken seriously. Silence and bureaucratic inaction allowed her torment to continue. At sentencing, her family's words carried the weight of permanent loss. Her brother Derek vowed that Mark would pay for the rest of his life. Her mother Irina described the absence of the daughter who had once brought light to every gathering. Friends spoke of guilt for introducing Donna to Mark and for missed opportunities to intervene. For Ottawa, Donna's case became a chilling marker. It showed that appearances can deceive. A seemingly perfect couple may hide horrors behind closed doors. Donna's story transformed from a tragic case into a rallying cry against domestic abuse. Today, her life and death continue to inform awareness campaigns, training, and public discourse across Canada. Her story reminds us that abuse does not discriminate. It can happen in any home, to anyone, and even the strongest individuals can be vulnerable. If this story has moved you, let it inspire action. Share it to honor Donna Ellen Jones's memory and shed light on the silent epidemic of domestic violence worldwide. Every subscriber, every share, every voice joining the fight ensures victims are remembered and their suffering not ignored. And if you or someone you love is experiencing abuse, let Donna's story be a reminder. You are not alone, and there is strength in seeking help. Thank you for standing with us and for keeping the memory of Donna Ellen Jones alive forever.